Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Matt Powers Show. I, of course, am your titular star, Matt Powers, comic book character extraordinaire, once famed superhero, now famed millennial living in his mother's basement, podcasting, because what else are you going to do when you're 38 years old? I don't know. This is what we all do. And it's great to have you here, because this is the show where we talk about nerd culture and all things nerdiness, from movies to TV to cartoons to comic books to video games to even music and sports if we get around to it. There's always something to talk about. Everybody's a nerd in their own way. And I love that about this life. Everybody's a nerd. But guys, I'm not here to talk about some trailer that just dropped. I'm not here to discuss some show that's important, though we are going to talk about a show. I'm not here today to even go on about the great MCU or why Star Wars needed a better ending than Rise of Skywalker. No. I'm here today to interview a very special friend of the podcast. And he's only truly a special friend because he agreed to be on here. I've only known this guy for a couple of weeks now, but oh my God, we've got him here. The Prince of Mischievousness, the thorn in Thor's side. Ladies and gentlemen, a Loki.
Well, hello, Matt.
Hi.
So wonderful to be here.
This is great, man. I'm so glad that that you agreed to do this. I know we haven't talked in a couple months, but it's I'm glad you're here, man.
Yes, of course. Any chance just to broadcast mischief to millions of people on the internet? You do have millions of subscribers, correct?
Yeah. Don't worry about those view counts down below. That's just preliminary data.
Well, every little bit of mischief helps, so it's okay.
Listen, Loki, the reason you're here is we got to talk about this. It just dropped on Disney Plus. You've got a brand new show.
I do. Yes, it's a very, very great project. I'm thrilled to be working on it. Honestly, I think it's going quite well.
I think so too. The first episode just dropped this last week. I'm enthralled by it. I think it's fantastic. So tell me about the show. What is Loki all about?
Well, as you know, in Avengers Endgame, I sort of got into a little bit of mischief, as I do, and I went off of my time stream, and apparently that's no good. I shouldn't be doing that. And so there is a time variance association, and they are capturing me, and they need my help in exchange for, sort of something I want. A little back and forth there, and it's quite exciting. A little time travel for folks out there who've been missing that in their lives.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. The lack of Doctor Who in my life has left a huge hole for time.
This is very Doctor Who. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit British.
Yes, I can.
So I do it. I do enjoy the BBC from time to time, and yes, Doctor Who meets Marvel is really what's happening here. It's quite exciting.
It's absolutely brilliant. So you got this new show. So this is certainly a part of the MCU, but it's on Disney Plus, which is awesome. You're following up to already two great shows, WandaVision and Captain Falcon. Jesus, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Do you do that too?
All the time.
I say it all the time.
Geez, he might as well be Captain Falcon.
He might as well.
Oh, no, I guess he's Captain America. That's fine.
Yes, that's right. He is.
So you're working for the TVA now. You're hunting down serial killers and the like. And you get to work with I think one of the most cherished actors in the business. Is you get to work with a young Mr. Owen Wilson, who I said him in the MCU. What's it like? What's it like working with Owen Wilson?
Well, I have to say, and this is a little embarrassing for me, but I only knew Owen Wilson from the movie Cars. And I was very shocked to find out that he himself is not a car. I thought he was a car.
Full flesh and blood human.
He's a real person.
It's exciting. As you guys
now Larry the Cable Guy, I might be rethinking that one too. Maybe he's not a car.
I don't think people go to see Larry the Cable Guy and expect a tow truck to pull up on stage.
Well, I don't know. I don't own a TV. Okay,
It's true.
so I don't know. But
You've been
apparently,
busy.
he's not a car.
So I was, but it's good. But it's you guys get along well. I mean, are you enjoying your
Oh
scenes
yes,
together?
yes. He's a consummate professional on the set, of course, and and I just love it. Every so often, I'm like, hey, say it, say your catchphrase, and he just says, "Wow," and it's just so good. He's brilliant at it.
He's got that voice. That's great.
He sure does.
So cool. So now, from what I understand, the show's only going to be about 6 episodes long, which is fine because it seems to be a really great length for these shows.
Well, I tell you,
Um,
it's longer than one of those movies, and I have to say that's good for me.
yeah, more screen time,
That's
definitely.
right, of course.
More chance for mischief.
Hmm.
So you've been doing Loki, but now that Loki's done filming, and I know it's airing, of course, but it's done filming. Do you have any other projects that you've been working on?
Well, I'm going on the press tour, which I'm doing right now with you.
Sure.
But I'm always up to my mischief. I've got all the mischievous things happening. Making socks disappear from the dryer. That's me.
That's you.
The headphones tangling up in your pocket. That's me as well.
You
And
you Loki.
that's right. I know. I can't say too much about it right now, but I do have something very mischievous in the works. All I'll say is this: keep an eye on Ted Cruz. That's all I'll say.
Well, there's certainly been plenty of mischievousness in politics lately. I guess you might have been behind some of that.
Don't get me started. Those guys. Those guys know what they're doing. I don't even have to do much over there. That's the mischief over there. I aspire to their level of mischief.
And speaking of mischief, I heard the weirdest story. Okay, just be honest with me. Did you really turn Thor into a frog?
Oh, this old story. You know what? Listen. Brothers can be brothers. You know what I mean? And we we played pranks on each other from time to time. And one time he put a bunch of gum in my helmet, and I had to cut it out of my hair. It was terrible. I had the worst haircut. Luckily, I did a little hair illusion, so no one really knew, but I knew, and it was awful. So, yes, did I turn him into a frog? Sure, but it was hilarious. I mean, he was hopping around. He was trying to lift his little hammer. He just couldn't. I mean, I mean, it was just a harmless prank. I turned him back eventually.
Of course. No, it just sounds like two brothers having fun.
And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I love my brother, but I mean, we definitely get at each other, if you know what I mean.
Sure. So I got to ask too. I I didn't realize how British you were until you came on here because you sound you could be British in the MCU, but like you don't hear it as thoroughly. Did you train with the Royal British London touring companies or anything?
Well, it's funny because I'm Asgardian, and so there's that sort of Asgardian dialect, which coincidentally is very British. It matches almost the British dialect here. So I didn't have to do a lot of work, but yes, I did a little bit of training, sort of like the King's Speech, with
Yeah.
Colin Firth. I worked with him a little bit or something, and I think I do my best to sort of give off the an air of brilliance, on screen. That's what I'm going for, and I hope that comes across.
Oh, very much so. After one episode, it is absolutely. I mean, seeing you in the other MCU movies, you're one of the highlights of the MCU. But then watching you in Loki, it's absolutely brilliant. You brought your A level to everything, your A game to everything, and I really appreciate that. Listen, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here. I try to keep these things kind of short, to the point here. But I wanted to know, do you have any last words of wisdom for our audience? Anything last thing you'd like to say to the dozens of listeners that might be tuning in?
Um, of course, I want to plug the show. Watch the show, and And I know that this year of 2020, it's kind of funny because I'm all in sort of all sorts of time periods. I'm in
Mm,
2012, and then I'm over here, and then I'm over there. But I know that this last year of 2020, going into this year 2021, which is half over already. I mean,
it
time, it
is.
flies
It
by.
is
Um, you know,
summer already.
it is summer already. Things are starting to look up, and so keep your chin up, as the British would say. And I think, as my brother would say, everyone is worthy. So keep your chin up and have a good time. And as always, stay mischievous.
Well, thank you very much, Loki, for tuning in to our for joining us on our show. Thank you.
Of course.
We'll continue to watch you on the small screen now as your show continues.
Oh, and it's getting good. I there's some twists and turns coming, and I hope you enjoy them.
Thank you for joining us, Loki. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the Matt Power Show today. That was Loki, our first interview, and I promise there's going to be many more coming down the pike there. If you like what you heard, make sure to like the video. Obviously, leave a comment. Loki might even see it. Subscribe to the channel, all that stuff that all us YouTubers ask you to do. But most importantly, if you appreciated what you saw and what you heard, come back next time because there's going to be plenty more to talk about. If you have any questions, you can send an email to davidcampproductions@gmail.com. Link is down in the description below. And as always, I love you all. Thank you for joining me, and nerd out.
To the vortex!